Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to PSGL on the Xbox side. This is we're pretty much at the halfway stage of the season, and we go to Sochi Autodrome for the Russian Grand Prix. My name is Jess, one of your commentators, and I'm not the only commentator now for the rest of the season. I am joined by a man who's used to commentating on pretty much most of these drivers in this league, in other top-tier leagues on the Xbox platform. We have got Ben. How are you doing, Ben?
I'm doing all right, Jess. How are you?
I am doing great. Looking forward to getting the second half of the season underway. A few drivers yet to make their mark, but there's a lot of drivers that have done well. In particular, Jakey B, who took his first win of the season last time about in Monza, which was absolutely amazing to see. I think he pulled off a really dominant performance as well. Felipe got his first podium, and I spoke to him last week, and he was very delighted about that as well. And then we got the two Mercedes third and fourth. We have Thibaut, who came fresh from winning in a Challenger Series last night. He finished in fifth in Italy. Then we got Sparks in sixth, Clendo seventh. There was a few warnings that got removed from that one as well. Peroni in eighth, Jam Pancakes, our reserve in ninth, and Smasher in a 10th position. And it's just nice to see a variety of different winners this season.
Yeah, that's what's great in every league, is where you can get that massive variety of different winners. I know in WR this season, we've had, I believe, 7 different winners, so differentials always nice to see.
Yep, exactly, and I wonder how they're going to do for the rest of the season in terms of consistency, and that's what Lut is doing. Lut didn't get the win last week, but that helps him go in the top of the championship with a grand total of 66 points, and it is directly ahead of Brown on 42 points in second. We got Zach in third on 36 points. We got Lefted in fourth with 34. The top four were the top five actually, the only 5 drivers to secure a win this season. And Felipe in sixth, Smasher seventh, Peroni in eighth, Sparks ninth, and Thibaut in 10th. Then we got Placky, Dominic, Sam, Jam Pancake, and Nico rounding up the top 15. And then we got the constructors standings. Mercedes leading on 108 points, followed by Red Bull on 61. Haas on third with third place with 46 points. Alfa Romeo fourth on 40. And we got Alfa Tauri in fifth, Williams sixth, Ferrari seventh, McLaren eighth, Racing Point ninth, and Renault with a dismal 8th position. Now we head to Russia, situated near the Black Sea, and it's quite a track where tyre degradation is not too bad for the soft tyres, so I'm assuming every single driver wants to get their lap in on the soft tyres.
Yeah, you'll notice one thing about this track: the alternate strategy doesn't work. You'll see drivers coming in probably around lap 9, 10-ish, exchanging onto the medium tyres, and by that point, at the end of the race, there's no real argument. The medium to the soft, it is, well, when I say it doesn't work, it is viable, but the overlap, unlike at some tracks where, for example, USA, the overlap's worth nearly 8 or so seconds, legitimately, around here it's worth maybe a second, if that, so the cost of the loss of time on the medium tyres doesn't equate to the time gained back on the soft tyres at the end of the race. Plus heavy traffic around here because it's just going to be one giant DRS train.
And it's very, very different, the Russian Grand Prix, compared to last game. Last game, I remember the soft tyres can last 10 laps. On this game, it can last 5 extra laps, which means more chance for people to go on the softer tyre for a lot longer. But if you're not fast at the start, then it's not going to hurt your race too bad, but if you end up having to go onto the mediums or the hards, then your race is going to be in trouble, like you said. So I'm going to try and find on board someone on a lap who's about to start a lap. Quite a few people about to start a lap. Let's go on board with Sparks, actually, who's recently signed to VRT. I think it was about a couple of days ago, I think. So massive well done to him as well. There's a lot of other changes in the eSport world as well. VSR do not have an Xbox roster anymore, so a few changes in that regard, and a few other people joining some eSports teams as well, so a few to make their move. And we got Matthew Reese, who's filling in for Days Rhombus today, as he can't make it. And apart from that, we've got pretty much all drivers in the session, which is great to see, of course. So we'll have to keep an eye on how a majority of these drivers do. So he will go on board with Sparks for now as he heads towards a very long turn 1 and 2. Probably one of the longest straights on the calendar, and the DRS straight only goes into the start of turn 1. Usually the detection point is just before that, but they have to work a little bit harder to get their overtakes right. This is the understeery central move of turn 3 heading into turn 4 now. You're going to be heading towards 5th gear here, and it's going to be around about 180 miles per hour heading towards 4th gear. He's purple set to 1 for now, so he's looking really, really good as we head towards one of the right-handers, well, one of the 90-degree right-handers coming up soon as we head towards turn 7 and 8. You just passed in the stadium section where they actually hosted the Winter Olympics back in the day in 2014 when it was first opened, and the only time that, well, pretty much Mercedes won the most here at this circuit, and it was actually one of the Ferraris that got pole position. Apart from that, it was only Mercedes that got pole position. It was actually Valtteri Bottas that took his first win here back, I think it was 2017 as well, and he also won in 2020 as well as he goes past, well, Sparks goes past turn 15 and 16. I don't think he went purple in sector 2, so I think he needs to improve a lot better if he wants to get on pole position. The passing time at the moment set by Smash with a 1:29.5. What can Sparks do? A little bit of a slide there. That might cost him time, but he sits third for now with a 1:29.6, Ben.
Yeah, not bad there from Sparks. 4/1000 off Sam. Smashed in the early pace setter with a 0.5. I think these times are probably going to drop. A Smasher actually has a spot to get there. Misses the pit lane entrance. Not something quite easily done around here, to be honest. I think we're expecting probably a 2 or a 3 for pole time. People like, for example, Lutz or Brown, I think might be able to get really down into that. Brown actually surprised me. His first run was only a 29.9, but he did make a mistake in the middle sector, so that's passable. Jam Pancakes as well had a really, really good first sector, but unfortunately his lap seemed to fall apart as he went on. Joker now coming down to the first sector, only a 0.7 there for him and the Haas. Seems quite decent driver, Joker. I've commentated over him in a couple of times, so it'd be interesting to see. Obviously recently joined Shazoo, I think 2 weeks ago or something like that.
Yeah, that was it.
Little mistake through turn 7 into, well, clobbering the curve there, and does the one Carvadal sin that's ridiculously easy to do, and that's invalidate your lap. Basically, every single corner around this track you can invalidate on.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
I found that quite a few times when I've been racing in career mode as well. It's just so easy to invalidate, maybe in the heavy braking zone as well. And yeah, that's an example of you following a driver and talking good about him and then he invalidates. So yeah, that's something you're probably going to get used to, because I've done that quite a few times. Commentated on a lap and then boom, he invalidates. So at least you got that one out of the way. Hopefully it doesn't happen in a future broadcast.
Well, I've just switched on to Lot. The next corner invalidates.
No. They're going to hate you by the end of this stream.
As I said to you the other day, most of them already hate me already, so it's fine.
That's good. That's probably why we got you here. I'm joking.
Yeah.
Anyway, Clendo as well, who had a few penalties removed last week due to some unfair advantages, unfair stuff that's happened in the games. We do know how the game is sometimes, and I gotta say, Clendo's been good at scoring points recently as well. He's one of the managers of WR alongside yourself, of course, and on his good day he tends to get consistent points, but he's only scored once. He got a P11 in France, but at least he actually finishes the race when he actually starts in PSGL at the moment. And what can you see from him in the next few rounds of the season?
Well, I'm not really sure what his pace is like in the upcoming round. He's only somebody I began to speak to and work with recently, so I'm not really sure what to expect. Didn't expect that one. He goes fastest on a 29.509.
There we go.
Didn't really expect that one. I didn't really expect that one, but hey, Clenzo, he has been done quite a bit of practicing with Nico over the past few hours. Nico, of course, most recent member to join TWR. So I'm keeping a special eye on him to see how he gets on. I've heard that he's apparently quote-unquote cracked, so that'll be an interesting one. Locks up now into one of the main overtaking places on the track. Now coming into this chicane here. The inside curb here, just watching as Nico hits it. It's an interesting corner because if you hit it too hard, it's going to spin you. If you miss it, you lose half a second. So it's so vital to get perfect that it can make or break a perfect lap. Round of the final corner for Nico. It's a 29.516. Goes P2. It's an old WR. Front row at the moment.
Yeah, WL front row as well. They're in different they're different constructors, but they're in the same esports team. So I wonder if they're going to be working together in the race, or they're just going to leave it on track. As we got Dominic that's come across the line in P3. Dominic's a man who has usually done well in qualifying, but when it comes to the the racing, he usually has a poor first couple of laps, which probably hinders the rest of his performance. But he was involved in some great battles last week in Monza, and if you weren't watching last week's race in Monza, where have you been? Because it was absolutely fantastic. There were some quiet moments of the race, but for the most part, it was great seeing. We see Lutz on par with a 129.4 as well. Another driver who also raced in the Challenger Series last night. He said to me that he wanted the win last night and he didn't, and it really did hurt him to not get the win, even though he's leading the standings, I believe, in the Challengers, which is great to see PSGL representation on top of the standings for that as well. But I think because of his trouble, well, he scored points last night, but because he didn't get the win, he's going to be even more hungrier to get a win in PSGL tonight.
I've known Keaton for a while, good 3 or 4 years now. If the man isn't winning, the man is pushing as hard as he can to win. He's had a rough start to this game. He really seemed to struggle a lot at the beginning, but over the past few rounds and the past few races, especially in a lot of leagues, really started to put his pace up, and we've seen it in Challengers, and I can see it just by looking at the results he's had so far this season. He really has put the pace up, as Abdullah now goes 9th fastest in the McLaren. These sort of, when you start to build momentum, it can really pass on. Doesn't matter what league you're racing in. You can, if you roll over in one league, chances are your motivation to race in that next league, your next day probably, knowing some of these people, it's going to be a bit down. So it's good to see that Lutz, even though he's had a slow start of the season, now he's got this motivation, now he's got this pace, he's moving forward, and, well, right now he's on pole by 600ths of a second.
I believe he's one of those drivers as well to get the most pole position. Well, I think he's joint on pole positions with his Mercedes teammate, LVA Brown, as well, who's currently second in the standings as well. The other people to get poles this season were Felipe and Peroni, who got a surprising pole position last week in Monza. So he could potentially be the first person to get into that free pole position mark as well, which will be great to see as well. But I've seen a majority of these guys work so hard. Lutz also the only driver to score 2 wins this season. Everyone else that has scored wins this season has only managed 1 win as well. So Lutz is definitely the favourite going into this as well. But don't count Sparks, who we were following a lap earlier on, who has went into 2nd position on his last lap, which is great to see as well. These guys have been pushing a hell of a lot harder to get it, and surprisingly, a majority of these guys I've been speaking to, they sort of like this track, which I got a bit shocked about because it's not one of the best tracks in real life to overtake on, but I think a majority of these guys like it because probably they score a lot of points. I don't think Jakey B likes this track though. He hasn't set a lap time yet.
Well, I'll be really honest with you, this is actually my favourite track in the entire game.
Oh, so it's not
Seriously.
just the Xbox drivers then, it's you as well.
and that includes the commentator as well. Genuinely, it's a lot of fun to commentate on round here. Even though, yes, it can be a boring dross of a giant DRS train and, probably the guy who starts pole is going to win. I don't care, because to watch the cars go around this track is actually genuinely exciting. And to drive it myself, even though I'm terrible, it's actually a lot of fun. I mean, my PB's a 0.4, so am I truly terrible? I don't know. The answer is yes.
Well, you're not that terrible. You're worse. You're better than me. I can't even get into the 129. The most I can do on this track is being a 131, 132. So yeah, I'm not the best around this track. But
and you've got PC hacks.
Exactly, potentially. But I mainly race on PlayStation. To point out.
Correction, you've got the fastest platform, Sax.
Yeah, but the main reason is because obviously the Xbox, the wheel that I have is not compatible with Xbox. I can't race on Xbox anymore. Which is sad because I kind of want to see what I could do, but I think I probably would have found it harder. But anyway, we got someone who's just about to finish a lap, Cressito, who is 19th at the moment, and he's not going to probably get the best lap possible here, but at least he's going to get a lap. The slide into turn 15 and 16 that you're talking about, and he's gone into the pits as I said that. So, yeah, he's only got pretty much one more lap to get a clean lap in, as do all these drivers. Everyone else is going out again. Now we've got Zach going in on a lap as well, who also did well in the Challenger Series last night as he goes through the left-hander as well. Oh, that was almost an invalidation from him. Luckily, it wasn't. And as this is another straight I think you would probably overtake in as well, but this is also a straight where you can also gain the most dirty air as well if you get it wrong as well, and it could be OP if you get DRS, but if you don't get DRS you're probably going to be in trouble as he heads to the heavy braking zone now. I'm a bit shocked that he's gone out now rather than later. I thought he would have waited. Oh, as he's hit the wall and he's out of the session. I saw someone similar do that in the Challenger Series earlier on today. And that is going to be his qualifying over. He couldn't get into the 129th, and that's just a mistake that quite a lot of people make in these cars around this track, Ben. And it's just not going to be good in terms of qualifying. And that alternate strategy, it's just bad to mess up around here, especially.
It's the easiest mistake to make, but it is quite a rookie mistake.
Yeah.
I've seen it done many times. Before, but unfortunately, in this case, for Oxtez, it is over. Clenzo, though, in the process of that happening, literally in the middle of his accident, goes fastest on the 29.2, which I tell you what, might actually see him get pole here. We'll see. Obviously, you've got guys like Nico, Dominic, Smasher, Placky, who I think is coming to the end of his lap here on the AlphaTauri, heading into the chicane. Just gone by the unfortunate demise of Oxtez. Biggs loses the back end, nearly clatters into the wall there on the exit of the chicane. Into the final couple of corners now, hits one curb, turns over the last one. Can AMS Placky to spodge a Clenzo. He can go, not an improvement.
He invalidated on the final corner. He invalidated the final corner, so I saw it turn red because I'm following the track map right now. So I think he'll have time. Actually, no, he won't have time to go out for one more run because he's running out of fuel and his ERS is dying. So, yeah, that's going to be no higher than 12 for him. But again, this field is so close. It's getting very competitive as the season goes on. Everyone wants to win the championship, and there's also a money incentive of £80 if you win the title. So, as provided by one of our partners, which is really, really great to see. As Left is just about to start. Well, he started his lap. Smasher is about to finish his lap. Smasher is purple set 2 in game. I wonder if it's a glitch in the game or if he's actually going fastest in set 2, but he's looking quite good at the moment. He's got cars in front of him, which may not help him on his final lap, but at least he has enough fuel at the moment to go again if he messes up. Both McLarens, though, move out of the way. I'm guessing they're going to go out for one final run. Clenzo, unfortunately, is not going to stand on lap either, but can Smasher demise? He goes P2 at the moment. He beats Ludd. I know Ludd doesn't want to be beaten by anyone, so he wants to improve on his lap time. And I didn't see what his sector 2 was as he's about to go across the final corner. This is his only chance to get a lap in unless he has fuel to have another go. And he invalidates on the final section as well. So if I was him, I would go. He won't go out for one more run as well. So Lutt won't get pole position today at this stage. And there's a few more people about to set their final laps, and I'll let you take through the end of qualifying.
Yeah, so Lutt actually locked up. He turned in too early. He had to take 2 goes and absolutely ruined his lap. I'm just trying to find someone towards the end, which is a bit of the awkward part at the moment. Well, JKB only goes away to P5. So the WR Championship leader, only P5 at the moment. Got Timo right in the final couple of corners. His lap is invalidated. It would have been a .517, which wasn't going to be enough anyway to go towards the front of the field. Now Brown in the last sector. He's up by 0.2 of a second, but he's still 0.2 down on what Lutt managed in the middle, so I don't think this is going to change for pole position, but it could still be pretty close. Fourth gear now for this Kane. Nico goes up to the front row, and all WR front row as it stands. Now Brown into the final couple of corners. He's got a car in front of him on the road, but I don't think they're much of a fight. The bikes are in the wall. It sparks. Brown round in the final corner, only to P7. And that then is your end. Got to go fast rounds. Actually, correction. Got to go fast goes to P11. McCabe Sam's are still up. I thought this was all over. Never mind. Final corner. McCabe Sam. Can he go to pole?
Second.
Goes P2. Only 32 one-thousandths of a second off of pole position there.
Jam Pancakes on the lap. Jam Pancakes going towards the final corner. Only 13th. So I think that just leaves his teammate, which he goes into the pits. But another different pole position in PSGL Xbox. Clenzo. His best pole position of the season, and don't forget, Sam didn't get a podium in a PSGL until pretty much later on in the first half of the season. I think it was Belgium where he got his first podium. Apart from that, he had a P9 in France and it did not finish in Monza. So this is a very good redemption story for pretty much all of the top 3. None of the top 3 of the championship are top 3 in qualifying. So that is saying something. A lot of people are just making mistakes when it counts, really, and it's just about the pressure mainly, I think, for these drivers.
Almost certainly. I just saw a message come through up on my phone from Clenzo being very happy. Let's put it that way.
I wonder
about his pole position.
Yeah,
Wow.
I wonder what he will be feeling like right now. But he's got to focus on the race, of course. It's not, you don't get points for pole position, you get points in the race. So I wonder how much the pressure will get to him. Let's hope he can deliver something big today. Clenzo is on pole with Sam, Nico, Smasher, Lut, Spart, Jakey B, Brown, Tivo, Dominic, and rounds up your top 10. And the ones who have free choice of tyres are Abdullah, Got to Go Fast, Jam Pancakes, Lefted, Joker, Placky, Otes, I think I'm going to say that because I think that's how you say the name. Matthew Reese and Crescito rounds up your grid. And interestingly enough as well, if I look at my data as well, no one in the top 3 has ever won a race in PSGL. So we could potentially see a different race winner. Only Lut, Brown, Otes, Lefted and Jakey B has won a race this season. No one else has. So... And in most races we've had around the Russian Grand Prix, the one who started on pole in the front row of the grid has never failed to score points in the race or even win the race. So should be interesting as it is dry again in Russia. And we probably wanted a bit of rain to spice things up. But for the drivers, at least it won't affect them for now.
Yeah, so one thing I'm noticing immediately is there's a few drivers down the back of the grid. So, for example, Lefted, who in my opinion was actually my favourite for pole, going on to the mediums. Got to Go Fast has just switched as well. Placky and Reese now selecting the medium compounded tyres. So, as I said previously, the strategy will play a difference, but it's not going to be... I don't feel the overlap will be enough whereby a guy on the medium tyres can win this race, unless there's some absolute safety car wizardry. I doubt it.
Yeah, we saw someone in, I think another league I was in who did the medium strategy perfectly, but that was because mainly he was just OP at the game, whereas everyone else was at a lower pace than him. So that's probably why. But it's not as dominant of a grid, not of a big split in this league. There's everyone in this league could basically win a race. That's how close qualifying was. And I think the O sound that Ben was making, that every single driver outside the top 10 has gone on to the medium tyres. And another big O is Lut and Clenzo both got disqualified from the formation lap.
I didn't even see that.
You did
I
not
was
see
looking
that?
down at my phone. I was reading a message from my mother on my phone, and then I looked back up and just
Yeah.
It was the first O because obviously the medium tyre guys. I did not expect that at all. So thank you for proving me wrong and making me look like an absolute blithering idiot. Not for the first time. And the other O being that is two of your favourites for this race win. Now on the grid with tyres, they're going to feel like skating.
Especially around Russia, it could get very, very cold at the time that it is ever produced around this circuit. So Lut and Clenzo must be feeling a bit worried at the moment, because you don't want to be starting on cold tyres. In some games you can get away with getting disqualified, it's fine, but on this game you can't. It just goes down so many degrees every second or something. I've done that quite a few times. When I go to turn 1, I spin. So let's hope Lut and Clenzo don't do that. But that gives Sam and Nico a great opportunity to get a good run into turn 1. I would say Sam has the best shot of actually getting the lead heading into turn 2, I would say. More than I think Nico and Smasher. Smasher hasn't won a race either, and he's still high up in the championship as well, so he can possibly have a good shot too. It's probably going to be quite unpredictable at this stage, knowing that our heavy hitters have binned it already in the formation lap, but we'll have to find out soon. Who's your money on to win the race now? Has it changed?
You know what? For those of you who know me from WR, you know I like a stupid prediction. I'm going for Jam Pancakes to win this race.
Nice. He's done surprises before. I've seen him come from lower down in the grid to win the race. Well, basically come near to winning the race. I think he actually got a podium here once as well from coming lower down the grid. So it is not impossible for Jam Pancakes, I would say. So I would take that prediction for you as we are about to start the race then here in Russia. Hopefully there's not a long hold as Clenzo is showing the trees for some weird reason, so hopefully we won't get kicked out of the session. Here we go, the lights are coming on, the 5 red lights are on, Clenzo on pole, Sam alongside, And we got a lot of jump starts, actually. 3 jump starts, and it is lights out, and away we go. Good start from Clenzo, but in really good start from Sam. I think the cold tires might have hindered Clenzo's start. Clenzo's all the way down into 4th position. Smasher gone from 4th to 2nd position. Nico has dropped down to 3rd. Turn 2, then it's going to be very, very tight. And a few people might get caught up from where Grosjean has been it quite a few times, but looks like everyone has got away cleanly so far. Matthew Rees has dropped down a bit so far. Jakey has had a really good start, all the way up into 3rd place as he goes round the inside of Nico. Nico tries to cut back on him, I think, as well. But quite intense start from pretty much all of those drivers. But it is our pole sitter Clenzo, who has just not had the best start at all. He got away well, but his tyres did not help him there.
And he's now got damage as well. He went into the back of Jakey. Yeah, was it Jakey? No, it was the back of Nico. He locked up down at turn 4, and that is it. Wing damage for him, and he's now got luck trying to go round his outside. Easily done. Dominic turns into him a little bit from pole position down to P8 now. Clenzo's been absolutely bullied through this field. Brown did not get away well. I did not know what happened to him. He got away really badly. Leftard got to go fast, and Joker were on a line of the grid. They unfortunately all jump started, as now Tebow has got past Clenzo now as well, who I think is going to have to pit at the end of this lap, pull the hard compound tyres, and do a lot of the crying, I think. But Sam leads then, 8/10 in front of Smasher, Jacob B just behind him.
Yeah, I think Clenzo is going to hope there's a safety car, and I think another driver is going to serve their drive-through, which is leftist, so he wants to get his drive-through served straight away. I think all the drivers that have got drive-throughs want to serve straight away, but there's some people that haven't got drive-throughs that are appealing for damage, and we already got one retirement already. That's Cressito, who had DNF'd there. I don't know where he retired, actually. It's the final corner by the looks of things, or it looks like, I don't think he's given up. Pit lane. So that is a shame for Cressito. That's why there's no safety car, but still Sam that leads by 6/10. But interesting enough, it's a 2 Sams, McCabe Sam and Smasher. Smasher is also known as Sam. So there's 2 Sams, 1 and 2 though. I think both the Sams will be pretty impressed with that as well. And unfortunately, as we often do in PSGL, we get the timing tower glitch, which we can't tell who was where at the moment until probably lap 3, I was saying. We're not on lap 3. Clenzo goes in on the hards. They're going to be stone cold as well for the first few laps. You don't want to be on the hards around this track. No,
you just don't. At the end of the day, the hard tyres are not a good tyre at any track, really, and they're even worse here. Crucially, though, Lutt now to the outside on Nico for P6. He's got a run potentially on Sparks as well. Looks at the outside line. Cogburn getting done. Nico tries to come back down his inside, but Lutt is now through up into what I believe is P5. Yes, it is. So Lutt back into his qualifying position after him and Clenzo collided on the formation lap.
Yeah, and Lutt was the person who also had cold tyres as well. So he had a much better race so far than what the likes of Clenzo was doing at the moment. But it shows how good Lutt's pace has been pretty much this whole game at this stage as well. But you can't make mistakes like that. But he's probably going to forget about them and concentrate on focusing on the rest of the race, because he's at 1 point, well, he's 5 tenths behind Sparks, and he could go for a move any second now as well. We got Tebow and Dominic also fighting for P7 as well. The leading medium runner is Big Abdullah. He had a good start. Otes as well. Jam Pancake stayed in his qualifying position 2 as well. Interestingly enough, Brown has also gone for the hards, as well as, well, Joker, I think, stayed on the hards after his incident earlier on in the race too. So that should be interesting to see as well. We get to see which tyres are the best, and it's definitely not the hards, but the softs seem to be coming to its own right now, as Tebow is all over Dominic for P7. He wants to charge his battery as much as he can. I think both of them are equal on battery, as well as I think Nico is pretty much lower on battery compared to these two guys as well. So that could be an interesting DRS train developing very, very soon. Meanwhile, Lutt's going to go for a move on Sparks. They're heading towards the DRS zone, and he gets that quite comfortably at this stage. Sparks didn't have much DRS, so that didn't help him as well. It shows how DRS is OP on this game. Lutt is up into P4, and he's going to try and catch up for Jakey B for P3, who's had a remarkable race so far.
Yeah, the process of that as well. Dominic managed to get past Nico as well. Nico seems to be really struggling. I'm not sure if he's already starting to suffer with signs of tyre wear, or whether he picked up that really annoying damage you can get. It doesn't show up on screen, but does show up actually, like, on your car and all that stuff. Jake now with a big run of Smasher. Can he move himself up into P2? The Red Bull decides to go defensive a little bit, but Jake doesn't worry, doesn't hold it. Doesn't bother making any rush moves. Tebow now makes his way past Nico on the pit straight up in the P7.
A lot of moves being made in this Grand Prix already, and I think I can tell why you like this track so much, because so many overtakes are happening on the opening laps. You really want to get them done early, because at the middle part of the race, this is where the drivers find it tricky when they go onto the medium tyres. So the more moves you make on those soft tyres, the better, really, and that's what these guys are trying to do. Tebow, though, must be feeling under pressure with Dominic being ahead of him at the moment, but he's probably quite happy that Nico is behind in 8th place, who's also struggling on those soft tyres. But you wouldn't want to be using too much of the EOS battery earlier on, because they tend to die very, very quickly, as I found out in my team quite a few times in this game. So it may be down to the cars, or it may be down to that I don't have that much energy store when I was in my team. Obviously, these are equal cars. They're completely different beasts to the my team cars, of course. But we're heading towards lap 5 pretty soon, as Smash has gained quite a bit on Sam as well. Sam holding his own at the moment, but Smasher, he doesn't want Sam to take the win, so he is gaining on him quite a bit, and surprisingly, not many people gaining penalties at this early stage. And speaking of that, commentators curse just jinx once again. Got to go fast, has claimed his first penalty.
Yeah, Cleanser was the first one on the board to actually pick up one. I was just watching Lot throughout most of that entire lap. He is pushing. He's got the gap down to Jake to 1.3 seconds. At the start of the lap, it was 2.1. He took 8/10 out of this little train in front. But crucially, this train has a lot more ERS. Lot down at 14% at the bottom end of the straight. You've got McCabe Sam on 62 out in front. That will be crucial when we come to the pit stop stages, where, of course, you'll gain about 30% ERS back. But by that point, you're probably, if you're in Lut's case, you're never going to touch 50% again. Because this track does not get your ERS back.
It definitely does not, like we were saying earlier on as well, like I found out quite a few times. So Lut is going to be in a bit of trouble right now, as he's got Sparks, Dominic already chasing him right now. If it wasn't for that collision they had in the formation lap, then Lut would probably be chasing on for the win at the moment. But you got to take it as it comes, really, Lut. It's really just trying to get that podium. I think that's what he's aiming for right now, because the guys that are running for the win, they're running away with it about 2 seconds, well, 1 to 2 seconds clear of the rest of the field right now. Jakey was closing up to Smasher that last lap. I was watching him just a little bit as well, but he couldn't get the move into turn 4, but you could potentially get it in these final couple of corners. But it's just these DRS trains around here, as does all the tracks on this game, especially I think Monza last week we found. I mean, all the tiers, the longer the DRS training, the less time, the less chance you're actually going to get the overtake in. So I think these is what the drivers are suffering at the moment. I think the only person that's potentially going to get the move is Smasher, but it's a dirty air again that's not helping him get that edge. Well, it might just be that Sam's straight line speed setup is definitely gaining him advantage as they head towards turn 2. Yeah, Sam is just rocking it right now in that McLaren, and we could see another different winner in our midst at the moment. Jacob could be the only one to spoil that party, as he won last week in Monza.
Yeah, Jan Pancake's making his way past Oxtez there on the pit straight. Pretty easy move, moving up now to second place out of the medium race. It seems to be just two entirely different races right now. Wherever it's going on with Nico, it's not good. I think it must be damage, because he's just not got anywhere near the pace of the front runners. But crucially, I'm noticing with Lut is that he's not catching in the middle sector. In fact, he seems to be actually losing time in the middle sector. He lost nearly 5/10, in fact, on the last lap. Got to get down now to 1.1, so he's chipping there. Oxtez now with a time penalty down in P11. I think if he absolutely slaps one on this lap, if he can try and get into the 33s on race pace, he'll be with them fairly quickly. I don't know if the 33 is quick. I'm not good at this game. I need to have down this PB though, gap 1.2. Obviously we'll lose a bit of time because of the DRS straight and all that. But we'll see. I mean, we've got everybody seems to have just to have settled in right now. A couple more laps, I think we'll start to see pit stops. I won't be surprised if the man I'm currently on board with, JQB, will be the first one in.
Yeah, as we were discussing earlier on, well, just before the stream actually, the predicted pit stop window. As Ben, you were talking about this. Lap 9 is the predicted pit stop strategy for the ones going to probably try for the undercut. If you probably go earlier, it's not going to work. But I think a majority of people, they'll probably want to go between, I would say, lap 10 to 14, obviously because the soft last 15 laps. So if you pit around lap 10 to 14, you should be fine. But we know that the overcut, you don't want to be going for the overcut, really. You want to be going for the undercut or pitting right on lap 10, really, to pretty much go ahead of your rivals, because otherwise you're going to be in absolute trouble right now. Lut is already near the DRS range of Jakey B. This is going to get very, very exciting. Lut could be actually back in this race as well, potentially. And Nico as well, again dropping behind Thibaut. I think he doesn't want to pit, because if he does pit, then he's going to lose so much time, obviously, because the pit, I'm looking at my data as well, the pit lane loss is pretty much quite significant compared to some tracks. 24.5 seconds as he just gets another time penalty there. So if he pits now, he's going to drop pretty much to, not dead last, I would say around about where left it and got to go fastest is where Nico would drop as well. Not many people making moves at the moment, like we said, so I'm guessing it's just about making sure your tyres can last until the pit stop window.
Lut is in the DRS of Jakey.
Wow.
So this is where things are about to get interesting. That is now your top 7, all within 1 second of each other. Though Sparks SD has just fallen out of Lut, so shut up, man, you're wrong. Good though. So this is where now, if you're Lut, you're just going to sit and save ERS, nothing else. You don't need to battle, you don't need to get into any sort of trouble. You sit, save ERS, and you come in for everybody else, and you hopefully perform the perfect undercut. However, this lap is maybe the earliest you can get away with it, but I won't really be too surprised if a sudden tyre goes into another country, because a puncher is very likely.
Yes, maybe it could go to the next country we're in, where we go to, obviously, the Marina Bay Circuit in Singapore for the longest races on the calendar as well. So they could potentially get one which lasts...
That'd be a long journey.
It will be a long journey. And Singapore, it's one of those tracks where the soft tyres don't last very long at all. But again, we'll talk about that next week. So you really want to be getting good results here, if you can think about it. Big Abdullah gets another time penalty as well. But Lutz somehow found about 5 or 6 tenths of a second in that lap already. That is how quick he is at the moment. He must have been saving for the first part of the race when he got in trouble earlier on. And then this is where he's going to start to push to try and get past these guys before the pit stop window. If I was maybe pitting around about lap 9 will also be the best situation as well. But you never know what could happen here as well. As I think Jakey B has dropped a little bit behind Smasher, because Lut is chasing him right now. I think Sparks could be in this battle soon before you know it, if Lut doesn't get a move on. Dominic gets past Sparks in the 2P5, and Sparks is pitting really early than I thought. End of lap 8, I thought he'd be pitting end of lap 9. So I wonder what tyres Sparks will be going on. Will he be going on to the hard tyres? I think that would be the only explanation of why he's going. Nope, he's going for the medium tyres. That is going to be a gamble, to tell you the truth, or my maths is probably completely wrong, that he'll probably make it, but we shall see. Lutz got the overtake and he just turned it off, and he's still on 17%. That's probably why he can't get the move past Jakey B at the moment. But this is going to stay like this for a very long time. I wonder if the whole of the top 4 will go in together.
I think knowing that somebody not too far behind them has now come in, that might be a bit of a trigger to say, as you just said there, for them all to come in at the same time. I'd be surprised, but dumber things have happened. Just watching the guys up front, Smasher especially, he's too cozy. He's now starting to burn his DRS. McCabe Salmon's not using any, but he's got 82% Urge Smasher. I definitely think he can go quicker than the guys in front. I just don't think he wants to. He clearly has the pace, but if he loses the lead, then he's just going to have to burn up all these DRS to obviously hold it off. So at the end of the day, it's kind of a lose-lose situation if he makes the move, because I don't think he'd be able to. Drop him. Sam is coming in. Yes, he is.
And so
Sam in, Smasher in. Jakey Lut stays out.
Lut stays out then. Wow.
Yeah.
I thought Lut would have come in.
Bold decision, I'm not going to lie, but he's followed by T-Bob. I like this, to be honest, though. I like this differential strategy. It's trying to... Let's just shake it up a little bit, I think, is the best way of putting it. Sparks are coming around the fight a couple of corners, just looking for where the guys are. Smasher, I think, is going to... Has he jumped McCabe? Yes, he has. Smasher has jumped McCabe. Sample pit road. So Smasher is now up into effectively the race leagues. Dominic has gone through. Sparks hasn't done enough, I don't think, to gain any major positions in front of Dominic, so realistically he's just held position instead. If anything else, he's behind McCabe Sam, who is also out of DRS of Smasher, who is now going to absolutely yeet one to make sure he can stay in front of a Lot, who is burning up his DRS, but did do a personal best first sector.
I think Lot is probably seeing what Smasher has probably done. Lot needs to have the best in-lap that he possibly can. But yeah, it must have been Sam that must have got held in the pits, or he might have had damage. I don't know, in that opening lap. Or it probably is because he got held up by some cars in the pit lane, which probably stopped him from coming out, which is a bit shocking because the Red Bull pit garage is before the McLaren. So I would have thought that the Red Bull garage will be held up more, but it might just be Sam had a bad pit stop.
Oh! I'm sorry to cut across you here, Jess. Thank you, Big C in the chat. Jacob E sped in the pit lane.
Oh, yes,
Jake has a 5-second time penalty. Oh boy! So, last week's race winner, correct me if I'm wrong,
you're not wrong.
Now, is now in a very difficult place.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's difficult to come back. It's difficult to come back because I don't think many people have won a couple of races in a row this season. As soon as they won a race, then they either have a good result, like maybe like top 5, I would say, or probably out of the point or something like that, or anything like that. But Lot has been consistent. Lot comes out, and Lot unfortunately does not get ahead of Sam or Smasher. We have another retirement, I believe. That is the pit lane as well. Yep, that is the pit lane. So he's had enough, I think. As a few of the other races I've seen him, I think he's probably given up in the pit lane most of the time. But yeah, Smasher's had pretty much the pit stop of dreams. Lot, by staying out, has lost a bit of time to McCabe Sam, which is a bit of a shame because he was around about 3 or 4 tenths behind the pretty much the net top 2 of this race. So he should have probably come in, but he's probably learned from his mistakes, and he's got to focus now on getting this car to the end because he can't give up. Sam and Smasher may bin it somehow, and Lot may come back into the win of this race. But by the way, you'll still lead the championship even if Smasher or Sam win the race because his main rivals are not having the best races so far. So at least he'll probably still be happy. But like we said, like he said yesterday, and like we said earlier on in the stream, Lot wants to win, and that's all he wants. He doesn't want second or third. If he doesn't win, then he's probably going to be hungry even more in the races to come. But we'll just have to wait and see.
To use his name familiar to many, Lot gives me Senna vibes.
Yes.
That constant will to win that nobody else can put their finger on. They will pretty much do anything. Not like I've ever seen Lot go for the Cyrus strategy and literally take out Pinecone for a championship, but it's one of those things where I can see him genuinely putting in the work. As here goes Sam. McCabe Sam takes the lead away from a Smasher. He's done the work so far, and he's through back into the lead. Nice simple DRS move there from the McLaren driver on Smasher. Smasher, though, with a lot more DRS. Probably just going to let Sam just lean out front, wear out his tyres, and probably go to sleep for the next 20 laps.
Yeah, and we know that DRS is powerful, so maybe Smasher being overtaken by McCabe Sam is not too bad for him. It's probably not the worst scenarios. As long as Lot doesn't get past him, then he should be absolutely fine as well. So he's got to keep on the pace of Sam, and then he should be able to challenge him towards the end. Expect these couple of laps to be a lot quieter than the start of the race, because that is where they're starting to get used to those mediums, and when the tyres start to die is really where they're going to be starting to push for position, because the points are won pretty much at the end of the race, not in the middle of it. So they're probably keeping their groove, they're keeping consistent lap times at the moment. They don't want to get involved in make too many mistakes, because if you make mistakes now, then it could definitely hinder your race to walk pretty much towards the end. The only ones that have not pitted are the top 5 who have been on the mediums for pretty much the whole race, but Lefted has had pretty much a shocker, because he's the only driver who also pitted on the side on the mediums, who has pretty much stayed there, and he's in 13th position. So he's won a race this season, but he hasn't scored many points in this race so far. So he's been very, very unlucky by the sounds of things. But again, he's going to drop way down the order when he pits on softs later on, probably matching where Brown and Cleanser is at this stage, because Brown will probably have to pit for softs as well towards the end. So they're pretty much on the same strategy. I'm not sure how long the hards last in this race, but we'll have to wait and see, as Jakey B, I think, has to make up a lot of positions if he wants to stand a chance of getting a podium. Don't forget, he has a 5-second. Penalties is basically getting no penalties is key around this track. If you get penalties, then you're in trouble, and JQB has got to make up some ground to the cars in front.
Well, at the moment, the worst place he's going to finish is probably P7, I think. So it's not exactly the end of the world for him, but it's not exactly great. Yes, great. Great either. He's actually got a run here on Sparks. Gaining. Will he go to the inside line? Yes, he will. To the inside at turn 13 of Jay goes up into P9. Decent move down the inside there. Next up him is Lut, who, to be fair, is not keeping up with Smasher and Sam.
No. Sam
seems to have some really good place on these medium tyres. And Smasher is just... well, he's just clinging onto his arse, really. To use, again, a very British term.
I think what's helping Smasher is he's able to use the ERS on the straight to catch up to Sam and then save it for the rest of the lap, and it's no problem. Smasher's going to have DRS, comfortably gets past Sam. I thought he would have stayed behind Sam, but to be honest, he doesn't want luck. He doesn't want to get involved in a battle with luck because maybe he would have lost 2 positions. So Smasher probably done the right thing there, but you do know Sam is going to be even hungrier for the win. It's going to be probably a ding-dong battle pretty much until the end of this race. They could be switching positions, but they maybe cannot afford to do that. Maybe Smasher and Sam could use each other for slipstream to try and basically get the gap quite as comfortable as they possibly can, and then they could start battling at the end for position, or it depends on the gap behind as well. Luck maybe caught in the battle with JKB later on. JKB has cropped quite considerably to CRG Lot, so maybe the wet race win is probably maybe out of the cards below at this stage, but not quite. We're pretty much halfway into this race already with Smasher, your net race leader, with Sam in second, Lot in third, JKB in fourth spot, still holding on to fifth, well, net fifth, but for how much longer? No, Dominic doesn't get past Sparks in that lap, maybe next lap, but he's got T-Bro for company in P12 for this race, but a net P6 if I've done my maths correctly, but we shall see anyway, and quite a few strategy calls, I think, for these drivers on how they can push their tyres, because some of them will be tyre saving now, some of them will be pushing it to the limit, and the ones that are saving and better tyre management will probably be the ones that will come out on top. Matthew Rees comes into the pits and he's going to go onto the soft compounded tyres. Those softs will make it to the end, so he can push for as long as he can. Will he get a top 10 finish? Again, the alternate strategy, not as powerful as other circuits, so it's going to be tricky.
How must LVA Brian feel? It's one of the few things I've got to say right now. Down in 14th place, he's got Clenzo just behind him. They're on a hard compounded tyres. They are nearly, 10 seconds off the back of the pack? This is like... it's not exactly... I'm not sure what this must do to somebody psychologically, but it must not be the best. Clenzo, though, to be fair, has raced up to the back of him. Joker is, I think, a lap down on the field right now. It's showing for me 42 seconds behind Lefted.
He's a minute and 2 down on the rest of the field at the moment. The leader. So he's not a lap down yet. Let's hope he doesn't get a lap down, because we want him to be on the lead lap, because if there's a safety car, he could probably get to the end of this. I'm shocked that there was no VSC or safety car yet, but to be honest, I was quite shocked. To be honest, I was shocked that there was no safety car in Monaco as well. Monaco and Russia are one of the tracks that are prone to getting more safety cars. So that shows a high standard in this grid at the moment, as Jam Pancakes and the possible pole position for the win may not happen, but we will see. Jam Pancakes comes in for the soft tyres. The benefit for him, his Williams pit garage is right at the end, so he's not going to get held up like the other cars. We've got Otis into the pits as well for the softs. Pretty much everybody apart from Big Abdullah, who started on the mediums, is going on to the soft compounded tyres. Lefted did so, I think, earlier. Yeah, he did so a lap earlier, so yeah, he's done the undercut on pretty much all of the soft runners, but it's not going to affect him because he's not going to overtake them due to the gap that he has had. But yeah, Jam Pancake's getting a good pit stop, Otis as well, so this is going to be a race pretty much to see if Jam Pancakes could get past Nico in almost 11 laps. We will have to wait and see for him, really.
So a couple of things I decided to go and nosy around was the warnings. And
Speaking of that, Lutt's got a penalty.
I was literally just about to say he's the only driver in the top 3 on 2 warnings. Never mind, he's just got to got the penalty.
And Nico's got a penalty too.
Yeah. Sometimes my job gets really annoying. I'll just be looking at something, it's like, yeah, he's just about to say something, and oh, you son of a... Exactly. It's that sort of thing, it's infuriating, yes, it's part of the brilliance of this job. I need to speak to my therapist.
Yeah, exactly.
The fact of the matter is, right, we're in a good place right now when it comes to this race. Smasher has dropped McCabe, who, from what I've been seeing on this lap, he seems to be struggling. Could be rear tyre wear, I'm not 100% sure, but that car, it just does not look stable and or safe. So do not be surprised as McLaren team comes into the pit lane, finally Big Abdullah. Do not be surprised if there's a solid chance that car ends up doing spinning around, pirouetting into a barrier.
Don't jinx him. I'm probably going to get told off, or I'm going to get blamed for jinxes or something like that. Meanwhile, Big Abdullah comes into the pit at the moment, so that promotes Jam Pancakes into P9. But yeah, this is the point of the race where most of the mistakes are made. They've been at this race for pretty much 20 to 30 minutes now, and they're starting maybe to get a little bit of tired. It is very strenuous, this track, due to the amount of right-handers and tight chicanes that these guys are doing at the moment in heavy braking zones. So I would imagine that some people would go to a spin right about now, but we do know that pretty much for some of these guys, if they do get into a spin, it's probably hardly never. Lutt being one of those drivers, and Lutt is usually the consistent driver who does not get penalties, but he got one now, so he's probably going to find a lot of work to do to pretty much get the gap to what he needs to be to probably still get into that podium position. And as you were saying, Ben, Smasher is definitely struggling. He was about a second behind, now he's about 5/10. Well, Sam is 5/10 behind Smasher at this stage. Sam is flying. He was saving as much tyre and ERS as not as ERS, but his tyres as he could, because Sam's on 15%, Smasher is on 44, Lutt's on 17, Jakey B's on 52. So the ones with the most DRS out of the top 4 is Jakey B and Smasher right now, and Smasher's the one that's defending. Jakey B's the one that's going to be attacking out pretty much everybody. We can see Dominic and Sparks going for a move. Dominic goes for pretty much a DRS move, I would say, into turn 1. That's all I can say about that move, but he looked easy on him. That's the move that both Sam and Smasher made so far this race. We haven't seen that much risky moves pretty much for majority of this race, apart from those DRS moves, similar to what we've seen in Monza in most of the races last week. But make sure you do check those out at the end of this stream, of course. But maybe Sam's just waiting until towards the end of the race, where Smasher will have to respond less time to pressure, really, and that is probably what he's doing, because the less time you give on a driver once you overtake, the more chance you're probably going to get the win. So that's probably what Sam's doing, and Lutt's probably hoping for any one of those guys to make a mistake.
What Lutt would love right now is a sudden brake failure. I think of Sam's car. Just so he can have a nice easy ride. He's got Jacob behind him with a 5-second time penalty. He himself has got 3 seconds. Realistically, the battle for this win is between Sam and Smasher. Realistically. But, and it's quite a big but, think this is F1 2020. Yes. This game is terrible, and stupid things can happen at stupid times. So, who knows? Maybe we could have an absolute... Maybe, I don't know, the game will suddenly just vomit a car somewhere where it's not supposed to be. I don't know. Knowing this game, it'll probably just stop a car down at turn 1 for funnies.
All this connection, or someone getting kicked from the game, which it has happened in a few races I've commentated on.
Your Xbox switching off.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that much here, because otherwise it may do it again. And yeah, I don't want to self my own jinx, but it's been all right so far. But yeah, I've seen, like in Monza, for example, in another league I was commentating on, there was someone that was very clear to win the race. He was helping his he was helping his esports teammate. He ended up going into the wall, and then the one that had like 9 seconds worth of penalties went on to win the race. So Lutt cannot give up hope now. Strange things have happened in league racing on Xbox, like what I experienced a couple of weeks ago. So Lutt could still win this race. Jakey could still win this race. Smasher and Sam just can't afford to become complacent, as Matthew Reese has got a time penalty as well. And I think pretty much half the field have had penalties, half the field have not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 drivers having penalties, whereas the rest of them haven't. So it's great to see the majority of drivers keeping it clean on the road so far, which is really, really hard to do around here, because Ben said earlier, pretty much every part of the track you can invalidate. I've done a no rules race around here, so it is easy to basically extend pretty much every corner known to man, as we're headed towards lap 20 out of 27 for now. Smasher still leads. Sam's just biding his time, but Sam's got to make the move soon because Lot is on his tail.
Lot looking to the inside line, looking to the outside potentially here, but I'm not sure. I think, yeah, Sam definitely has to turn up his ERS there just to make sure he wasn't challenged by Lot. But Lot is starting to look racy, and that sort of mentality might kick in where potentially he might send a rush move, things might go badly, but hey, we'll have to see. I mean, it's they're both, all these guys right now are looking really strong, including Jake just behind. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's just kind of sat there, but he's got the most ERS out of the front group, so who knows? Shock. As we've said plenty of times this race, stranger things have happened. But we're smashing now. Actually, he's dropped Sam a little bit in that middle sector. Potentially a mistake there. Not 100% sure. Lot with a big lock-up. Might just miss the curve a little bit there. Run will come, obviously, from Sam. He won't have to bother about Lot behind. Instead, Lot's going to have to worry about Jakey B, who is prowling off the straight. Gaining. Does he go for the move? No, he does not. Looks at the inside line, decides against it. Quite smartly, just because that could have ended badly, as Jam Pancakes down in P9 picks for time penalty to split it now 9-8 on the penalty list. So swing in the favour of penalties. Yeah,
so it's now switched in the favour of more people getting penalties than not. So don't forget we have 19 drivers, but obviously 2 drivers have retired from the race. We've got 17 drivers in this race, more people getting penalties, so that explains things quite a bit. Meanwhile, Lut is getting a good run on Sam, so probably Sam has regretted not to make the move on Smasher when he could. Sam's also gaining on Smasher, so it's probably going to be a free card train to get the win of this race, even though Lut's got penalties, but like strange things had to happen. Like we said, Sam a bit of a slide heading into turn 2. It can be under stereotypes, like we said earlier on in the stream. Lut could have the chance of getting into turn 4 right now. He's taking pretty much the shortest line that he can right now. Clips that right hand apex. He does not get the move done, but he almost did there heading into turn 1, but it was just a dirt. Yeah, of course, Nico pretty much is hanging about with Jam Pancakes right now. He's looking to score as many points as he can, and it's proving the point, Ben, well, it's proving your point, Ben, that the alternate strategy does not work on this track.
Nope. I'm trying to think. Well, I think it was Kowalski or Alessio, as he's known on PC. Was trying to run the alternate strategy around here, and unfortunately, he was easily the fastest guy out on track. He ran really long on the mediums. I think it was like to lap 16 or 17. He came in, did fight his way back up to second, but by the pace advantage that he had, if he'd started on the softs, he probably could have won the race by a good 10 or 15 seconds. It's kind of the pace advantage he has over the rest of the field is so strong in the league. Down the inside goes Jam Pancakes on Nico. Finally gets the move done. Goes a little bit deep. Nico tries to go around the outside. They bang wheels a little bit there. Nico just has not got the grip of the soft tyres. Jam Pancakes is through up into P8. Good little move there from him. But Vandy's now hit his ceiling because he's got 9.5 seconds to gain onto Sparks. So back up to the leaders. Sam just having a little bit of a chill now. The thing is, if there is going to be any sort of battling for the race, it's going to come 25, 26, 27.
Yeah.
That's when you're really going to see the guys starting to go at it at this stage, as now Oxtez gets by Nico on the straight as well. Up into P9. Will he run him out a little bit wide? But he's got in, he's hit Jam Pancakes!
Oh,
Oxtez
no.
goes deep, hits Jam Pancakes, and now Nico shoots the gap straight back and through, up into P8. We're back where we started, as Plucky has now got past Oxtez as well. One small mistake by the Red Bull cleans it to his good friend Jam Pancakes, and there lies a helpline for Nico.
Oh, Nico, and I think there was a bit of a part at the back as well with Matthew Reese spun as well, and it was an Oxtez again. So what is happening to the Red Bull driver? He's getting involved in quite a few incidents in a row so far. Maybe that negative mindset is not helping him, and you know you got to forget about what just happened and focus on the rest of the race, and that is not what Zach has done. Unfortunately, it costed Matthew Reese his race. This may bring Brown back into the mix, even though Brown is on 19 lap old hards. Don't know how he's doing that, because I know Brown and Cleanser might still have to pit, but they could get away with staying out just for a little bit longer. I wonder if Jam Pancakes is losing a bit of damage because of that, or he might have got away with that. We'll have to wait and see if he goes into the pits. Well, we see the
Nico's in the wall!
Nico's in the wall! It looked like he was going to the pits then, but he might have just got, I don't know, but yeah, Nico made a huge mistake. We talked good things about Nico, and that happened.
Oh, commentator's curse.
And no,
where have you been all my life?
Ted's out the race. Zach's out the race.
Yeah, I think
he's giving
Matthew
up.
Race is going as well, I think. Speeding into the pit lane, that tends to usually lead to one thing or another, but
Yes.
I doubt this. Pop culture references. Yes, I was born in 2002. Yes, I do already feel old. So right now, lap 23 out of 27, with got only a few laps to go. Jess, 5 laps to go in this race. Who's taking this?
Oh, you put me on the spot here. I think Sam's good. I think Sam. I think he's gonna have a bunch of DRS. He's gonna have a bunch of DRS, which is we've seen power forward towards 10, 10, 12, and at the start finish straight. He's gonna wait for that moment, probably like lap 26, I would say, or even lap 27, to give Smasher no chance for spawn, and then he's gonna take the win. He's just waiting for that perfect moment, and Lut's not going to miss out on too much because his nearest rivals, Jakey B and Dominic, have got penalties as well. The only drivers not to get a penalty inside the top 5 is obviously the top 2, well, top 7, I'll say, is the top 2, Tebow and Sparks as well. But I think Tebow could be the one that gains the most out of this. Jakey B, though, is still right on the back of Lut. This could be his chance. I think Lut will be ahead of him anyway due to Jakey's 5-second stop-go penalty. But again, Lut can't get past. Maybe Jakey is also waiting for that perfect opportunity as well. It's just patience. You've got to be involved in patience. But looks like Jakey could be going for a risky move here. He was using the overtake, but he decided nope, he's not going to go for it. I wonder if we'll see moves going into turn 4 on the final few laps. I think we could see those coming from, I think, the likes of Sam and Jakey B potentially.
I think it certainly is the best opportunity if you just want to absolutely send one on somebody. It probably is the best way of going about it. I doubt anybody will actually go for it, as it is quite dangerous, but you know, things happen sometimes. A note right now, because of Lutz, Jakey and Dominic's penalties, T-Ball at the moment is actually running a net third. If there is an incident, say, between Sam and Smasher, T-Ball, who has been an absolute non-factor in this race, could legitimately win this. Came in the same lap as Lutz, so his tyres are 1 lap fresher than the guys in front, which, again, could make all the difference. I mean, to my knowledge, I don't think T-Ball's won a race, aside from Challengers, for about 3 or 4 months, to my knowledge. So, aside from Challengers, obviously.
Yeah, to be honest, I was delighted when he won last night. I was like, get in, T-Bow, because, you know, I'm supporting the PSGL drivers. I want them to succeed and all and stuff like that. But, yeah, and don't forget, he missed the first 2 races of the Challengers as well. And he did put a statement there as well. So I wonder if he's putting a statement out here that, you know what? I'm here. You can make mistakes, and I can pick up the pieces and take potentially a podium or a win. But he'll definitely get a podium at least if he doesn't make a mistake at the moment. But, you know, he's just waiting for the right moment. He's on fresher tyres as well, so he's going to be the most to gain of this situation should people, well, if people have any incidents. As, again, Jakey does not get past. Oh, we do have, I think, I thought we had a battle there, but it was Sam's teammate being lapped. So that was, I think it was Big Abdullah. Yes, it was. So I was absolutely getting excited. All this was going to be a move between Sam and Smasher. Turned out it was a lapped car. So shame on you, Big Abdullah. Joking. He's having a poor race, but at least he's still going. He's a lap down, but he wants to get something out of this race because, you know, something obviously could happen to the cars as well. We got Lefted and Brown having a battle with Cleanser as well. Cleanser should have won this race, but he got this fight from the formation lap and his tyres died and stuff like that. What could have been for Cleanser, I think, at the moment? All he's fighting for is a P11, probably a P12 of this rate due to penalties.
Right, so I'd like to throw out my F1 knowledge brain, first of all.
Okay.
The closest margin of the top 5 finish is 1.6 seconds. set at the Jerez Grand Prix of 1981. There is a very solid chance when we finish this race, irrespective if taking out penalties in the equation, we could break that record, but just because of how ridiculously close the top 6 are right now. The top 6 record, I believe, is 4.8 seconds off the top of my head. So
I'll get leader gap for you. So the gap's 2.2 at the moment between the leader.
Yeah, that's the top 6.
Yeah, top
it's 1.7 for the top 5.
That's insane.
Okay, I don't know top 6 top of my head. Top 5 I do know because it's actually my favourite race of all time. Like I said, I have a ridiculous F1 history knowledge. So it's one of these things. I'm watching this race right now, and I'm just seeing, especially Sam at the moment. He's giving me John Watson vibes. Runs really well up in the race, and then just drops, and then just suddenly starts dropping through the field. Smasher is almost pulling a Gilles Villeneuve here.
Yes, we could be having a different race winner. I think we could be on
True.
for our... So I think I believe we're round 7, and this could be our 6th winner from 7 races, which will be insane. So obviously, Lutz the only driver that's won 2 races this season. Everyone else has won that's won 1, which is, I've got to say, it's true testament to how quick pretty much majority of these drivers are. And considering the gap, the top 5 is 1.9 seconds. JKB's got a time penalty down to 8 seconds now, because obviously that's stock go. So he's going to drop. I'm a bit worried he may drop outside the points at this rate if he's not careful. Oh, he might just get a point. We don't know. If my
He's not going to fall out of the points, but we have now started the final lap of this race. Smasher leads Sam Lutz, Jakey, Dominic Tebow. That is your top 6 there, the guys in contention for this race win at the moment. No moves right now from the guys at the front. A mistake from Lutz, but Jakey being a little bit too far back to capitalise. So it is now just a 2-horse race there between Sam and Smasher. Both have quite a lot of ERS to spare. Sam definitely lower on fuel. That's one thing I picked up immediately. So, can he pull it off on that straight? Gap 3/10. A little bit of a slide there. I said that car didn't look exactly very stable, but it hasn't exactly looked very good now. Everybody's so close to each other. All slides and no drive right now for none of these cars, but can Sam get it done? A little bit of mistake from Smasher. Big mistake for Smasher. Actually, a big slide. All the turtles need to overtake for the final few yards. Sam gains and gains and gains. Does he have enough to go down the inside? Smasher goes defensive. Sam will shoot the gap and Sam will shoot it down the inside. Big lock up. Both go off the track. Nearly a collision between the pair of them. They have more contact. They back wheels even more. Here comes Lutz. Does he have the run? No, he does not. Sam and Smasher side by side on the final couple of corners. Sam ruins him. They make more contact. Lutz gets the running half, spins, and now Jakey B comes up into the equation. Lutz down the inside of Sam. He forces him off track. Jake down the inside goes for the send. It's going to be Smasher who wins, and it got all chaotic. Sam still just managed in P2. T-Ball P3, Lot P4, Dominic P5, Sparks P6. Sorry to take over the end there, Jess.
To be honest, you were commentating on that ending. I was like, oh, I will sit quietly for this run because you were doing so well. So, wow, what a finish there. And to be honest, I'm glad I had a voice because of that. And Lefty has retired from the race. He must have got damaged somewhere. But yeah, that was close in an instant. The way that Sam and Smasher were pushing, it almost looked like they was going to get damaged somewhere. How they didn't get damaged is unreal. Look at the down arrows are showing that the gaps were very, very close, I think, according to that. So I think we have broken the record because the gap, even with penalties, is 4.1. So that's insane.
For the top 6?
Yeah, no, the top 5. 5.8 is the top 6.
Oh, well, yeah, top 5 is... No, it's not that. That's 1.6 seconds. Top 5.
Yeah. I think it's my deltas might be messing up or something, and I think that's just everybody finishing. But yeah, I think if Sam probably challenged Smasher probably a lap earlier, he probably would have got the win. But because he was so greedy, he wanted to do it on the final lap where he responded to, Smasher had little room to respond. Smasher was just hungry for it, and that's how he got the win. So no matter what, we were going to get a different winner. But the question was it going to be Smasher or Sam? Both of them deserve the podium. It's pretty much Sam's first podium since the first race in, I can't remember what race it was, Australia. And it's Sam's first podium since Belgium. And I can't remember who finished first. T-Ball's first podium since Great Britain. So all these three
Cool.
drivers have not had a podium since the first part of the season. So they're starting the second half of the season on a high. That's what they want to see. So we've got Smasher that went basically a all English 1-2. Tebow in third, Lut in fourth, which is still pretty good going. I do believe he still leads the championship. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he's still, yeah, he is, because obviously we've got Brown that's down in 11th, his teammate, and everyone else is nearest rival. This hasn't scored many points actually. Maybe Jakey B will probably catch up, but we'll see. Anyway, we've got Dominic 5th, Spars 6th, Jakey B 7th. We've got Placky, Jam Pancakes, and Nico gets a point from his efforts. He started third, didn't quite have his race, but he still got a point consolidated, which is better than nothing. We got Brown, Cleanser, Matthew Reese, Joker. Your finishes and your retirements are lefted. Big Abdullah was a lap down. Otez got to go fast, and Cressita, I do believe, lefted is classified because Big Abdullah was a lap down, but I wonder if the DNF will still count. I'll check with Connor on that one, but we'll have to wait and see. But Smasher, our 6th different winner of the season. He needed that win after what I spoke to him in Australia, and he's finally got it.
Well, I honestly don't know what to say about that. That was insane, as a lot of the guys have said in chat. I mean, can you really get a better finale than that for some racing? I don't think so. What a final few laps. Now, I believe, if I'm wrong, not wrong in saying we're heading on to interviews now.
Yes, we are, and I've given the basically the baton for interviews to you because it's your first stream, and we thought, you know these drivers well, so you probably know how to phrase a question better than me. So anyway, we'll try and get them in. We'll try and get pretty much all the drivers. I know Sam usually likes her to be interviewed. No, Smasher likes to be interviewed. I think Sam would want to as well, and maybe Tebow. I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. So we'll try and get them in. So let me just ask them all to come in, of course. I need to actually scroll up to see if anyone's waiting in the waiting room. No, they are not. But whilst we do that, Ben, tell us who's been your driver of the day.
Oh, my lord. I'm going to say Smasher, genuinely. Just to... I can't just say for the last lap alone, but trust me, the last lap alone does count for a lot. I think, to be honest, just based on the fact that he just had a really good drive today, was capable enough just to keep people behind at the start, and it was just he just drove extremely well. Nobody particularly charged through the field, and nobody really, I think, stood out specifically well, but a very good race from Smasher. So he, in my opinion, is the driver of the day.
I think I have to agree with you. He did the pit stop perfectly. I'm still not sure what happened to Sam in that pit stop, but that didn't really affect much because they were still battling each other as well. So we may as well grab these. You can't do it on your phone, so I'll just grab them. It's fine because I'm on my PC. Yep. So we'll start by interviewing our race winner. First time race winner of the league, not first time race winner of Xbox. He's won a lot of races on Xbox top tier. I think he commentated on quite a lot of them as well. So we'll grab, we'll put our race winner in, and I'll hand it over to you, Ben.
Woo!
Right, don't kill me, please.
Okay, Smasher has been moved into our channel, which means that I get to do my wonderful thing of interviewing. So, first of all, your mic's not on.
I think he's waiting. There he is! Yay!
Yay!
That's good.
There we go. So, first of all, congratulations on your win here today. A really, really solid drive from you. I'd like to get your immediate thoughts on the start, because you seem to get away really well there. How was that for you, really?
Yeah, well, first, I didn't want to be starting in that position because I knew that in practice I definitely had very good pace in qualifying, but then in qualifying, just don't really know what happened, just was not concentrating at all for most session. And that last lap, I got held up in sector 3, loads of traffic, but that's not an excuse because the whole lap was just terrible. But then, yeah, starting P4, I was surprised that lap were actually P4, to be honest. But then on the formation lap, actually, hit Cleanser. That's why Cleanser had such a bad start, because I don't think his tyres were up to temperature. But yeah, on my new wheel that I got last week, I've actually been getting really good starts. So I knew that I could get into the top off the start, and that's what I did. McCabe got a good start as well, and then for the rest of that first stint, just staying behind McCabe. And once I made the pit stop, McCabe got held up, which was unfortunate, but gave me the net lead. And I knew I just didn't waste my ERS then because I knew McCabe's very, very quick, but he had to use ERS to get into my DRS. So yeah, just cruised, and then I let him through to stick with him, and then I overtook him just to try and stay ahead of Lutz DRS, but he eventually got into it. And then that last lap, I didn't really feel like I drove well all race. I drove okay, didn't get any pens, but yeah, I still felt there were a few mistakes every lap, which weren't ideal. But then that last lap, didn't do the best first two sectors, and that allowed McCabe all over me into the right-hander at the beginning of sector 3, and then I knew that he were going to send it, and I were expecting him to force me off, so I was getting ready for it. I left him room, and then he hit me off track, but that was fair, so then I hit him back off track. But overall, it were a bit of an intense last lap, but it was fair racing, I think.
Well, you had a lot of the guys in the chat being being very excited and enjoying it, so that was quite nice to see.
Yeah.
Do you feel this is your second podium this week? How is your motivation moving on now for the rest of the season? Do you think that you can move on towards the Championship Challenge, or is this maybe...
Well, since the new year, in other leagues, I've been doing very well in other leagues, but this league, I don't know what's been happening. The last 3 races have been one of my 3 worst races on this game. France, I just had a shock, and Monaco, I got damaged and retired, and then last week, obviously, it was my first race with the wheel after an hour, so I couldn't really expect anything there. But yeah, now to put them 3 races behind me, get a win now, it's hopefully can kickstart the second half of the season well for me and maybe challenge top 3 in the standings.
Well, let's see. Well, congratulations to you there, my friend, and I'll see you on Monday.
Cheers.
We're going to try and get, I think, our P2 person in the chat as well, which is Sam, which is his second podium of the season as well. We're talking to both people that have had their second podiums in Russia, so that's great to see. So, Sam, can you hear us? Is he there? I don't know if he's there or not.
Hello?
Oh, yeah.
He is now.
Yeah. Oh, you can hear loud and clear. Brilliant.
There we go.
Right then. Hello, Sam. Congratulations to you then on today's podium. A little bit. You had a really, really last lap tussle there with Smasher. But before we get on to that, your qualifying lap was very, very strong. Did you feel like you could have took pole of cleanser, or was that? Do you think that was your limit?
I've just seen a tweet on that from CLG Game actually, and I mean the truth is you can only go wide there, but I did hit the curb. I wasn't intending to go wide. I hit the inside curb, so I ended up turning left at the right-hander. So I didn't actually gain time on my delta. So I mean, yeah, there is a glitch. Well, there's a bug where you can go wide. But I didn't actually gain time from it on that specific lap. So, yeah. It's interesting. I can see why people... Well, it is a thing, and I know about it, but I didn't intentionally go wide, and I didn't gain time from it. I mean, I might get a penalty, but I didn't see anything in the stewards' reports beforehand about it myself.
Maybe it's just not something that's been picked up on, I don't know. That wasn't what I was referring to, but fair enough. So is that so do you feel you, because of this, gained extra positions, or...
Well, it was P3, I think, for myself, and I lost time on my delta. So, if I do get penalised, it is what it is, but, yeah. But, I don't know. I didn't get any time for it. That's what the stewards say.
Yeah. It is what it is. Move on at the end of the day. I think it's the best way of seeing it. But moving on to more lighter topics, you definitely had the car to beat here today, I think, across the board. Do you echo that sentiment, or do you feel like there was somebody else around who definitely could have had you today?
Well, going into it, I didn't feel too confident because I just rocked up with 50 minutes of practice, one quali, so I wasn't expecting too much. So I was pretty happy with my pace. I felt like in the race I had slightly better pace than Smasher, but a few mistakes for myself made it tough to get past, leaving it a bit last minute. So I think Smasher drove pretty consistently, deserved the win, to be honest.
Well, obviously we've got to talk about that last lap. How was it from your perspective? Because it was absolute chaos.
Well, I know a lot of things about last lap things at Russia, that specific corner from JD into SRL where I wasn't late enough on the brakes. So I'm good mates with Smasher, so I gave it a little go, gave him a big squeeze off. He wasn't too happy about it, but yeah, it was very hard racing. It was pretty harsh for myself. It was borderline, in my opinion. He gave me back in the next corner after that, which is fair enough, to be honest. I deserved it, and yeah, it was a nice little battle, but couldn't quite hang on. The tyres were gone.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to you here on your P2 and your second podium of the season.
Thank you.
And I think that's everybody that wants to be interviewed, unless Tebow wants to be interviewed. I don't think he does. Let me just check the our Discord chat. No sign of him, so I'm guessing he's just celebrating that he's got that podium there. So that is it then for the PSGL broadcast. And I've got to say, it's been a good race from everyone, I think. Good standard. Not as much overtakes as we would have thought, but it is Russia. Russia doesn't provide that many great overtakes apart from the DRS, but that final lap was definitely something else. And I really do hope we get something similar in the top tier of PS4 on Monday as well, because I'm sure we're going to get something similar anyway. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, thank you to Ben for joining me for the very first time. And I can't wait for you to join me for the rest of the season.
Yeah, feelings are mutual.
Yep, there we go. And we'll see you next week, which I believe we are at Singapore. Correct me if I'm wrong, where it's one of the longest laps on the calendar. Soft tyres last pretty much hardly any time. And yeah, it's going to be hard for some of these drivers, but let's hope that they can manage it. See you all soon. Have a good evening, and goodbye.